This is the tail of the dragon. It is regarded as one of America's most dangerous roads and consistently ranks in the top 10 most dangerous roads that can be driven in the United States. It's actually only an 11-mile stretch with 318 turns that goes through North Carolina and parts of Tennessee. If you're familiar with the tail of the dragon, then you know it's infamous for its gruesome motorcycle crashes. That's exactly why I wanted to take my Audi S4 to it, so I had to road trip all the way here before I sell it, because it was the last major thing I wanted to do with the car. Now it's time to do some vital road trip prep. So first of all, the Audi was on its Hoosiers, or the drag pack I like to call it, so super lightweight wheels with some Hoosier DR2s. The only reason why I was running that is because I ran a 10-second pass with the Audi, and if you guys didn't see that video, check out the quarter-mile run. I'll link it in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Anyways, we needed to switch over to the street tires because you can't really take the Hoosier DR2s to all the twists and turns, and they're really not meant for street driving at all. You know, they're not meant to actually withstand that constant heat. So we definitely did not need to have those on the car. But from there, I loaded the Audi onto the trailer, and that was a nightmare because the car is super low. It's on these lowering springs that make it very difficult to load on any trailer. I did figure out a workaround for this, and that's to place a block of wood and jack up the trailer as much as possible so that it tilts back and makes it easier to load a lowered car. I don't have any fancy ramps right now. I know race ramps are an awesome option. I just haven't invested the money in that yet. So this is the method that I've been using, and it helps me get my low car on. I think it took quite a bit to get it loaded because I didn't have that much help. I had to get out and constantly check where I needed to place wood planks. But once we got that, we were all ready to go for the 11-hour road trip. And trust me, nobody likes a long road trip like that. And the only reason why I'm trailering the Audi is because I had a buyer for the car since I am selling it, and he said he wanted me to keep the miles off of it. So I think it's like a 2,000-mile round trip, and I only wanted to drive the miles of the tail of the dragon and not put all the miles there for him so that he could get his car at the same mileage that was advertised. So that's why I didn't drive it and I trailered it. First stop, my girlfriend's, because she's also coming on this trip too. If you're wondering why the light bars are on, well, somebody messed up the wiring, so the headlights, the rock lights don't work at the same time. It's one or the other. I don't have turn signals, I don't have brake lights, so this is the first BS of the trip. So if I only put the headlights on, I won't have any marker lights on the trailer either. So I've just been rocking it like this with the light bar, and then I guess when I get to Georgia, I will try to figure out what's going on with the wiring. It's not done right. That's pretty much the problem. Little did I know that the standstill traffic was going to be the least of my worries on the way to Georgia. I was going to completely break down, and it was problem after problem. No freaking way. We have an illuminated green dash now because I switched out the mini fuses that were on the side right here. I'll show you all in just a second. A couple of them were blown out. All right, so perfect. I got to a truck stop at like almost 3 a.m. I went through a bunch of mini fuses after doing research. I had Alexis look it up, why my turn signals went out all of a sudden, along with the dash illumination, and we found our answers real quick. So I started changing out fuses left and right, and I finally got the turn signals back. So that's better than nothing, but I still didn't figure out the whole headlight thing, because I guess that was another fuse that I didn't figure out till later, because obviously I wasn't trying to do research and sit there. I was trying to make it to Georgia. Just when I thought things were turning around for the better, they got instantly worse. You can look at my voltage for the batteries, and they dropped down to 8 volts, and all my lights started to slowly go out. So no headlights at all, no light bar, no brake lights, no running light, and no trailer lights. They all went out while I was on the highway, and the tachometer stopped working. So yeah, it wasn't a good situation whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, you can continue to drive the diesel because it is mechanical with this 12-valve Cummins. Like, technically you could still drive it, but I wasn't going to do it without lights in the middle of the night into the middle of nowhere in Georgia. Just not a good idea. So I found the nearest Buc-ee's and I pulled over. Now, I was 99% confident that it was the alternator leaving me stranded because once I got to Buc-ee's, I just had this guy jump the car. Now, when he had his cables on the car, voltage read at around 13 volts, which is normal. The car turned over and started, but the second he took his cables off and the car idled on its own, it lost all its voltage and went back to 8, indicating that the alternator wasn't recharging. So I was like, you know what, let me take these batteries out. I got some Diet Coke to clean the corrosion off of the terminals, took the batteries out for inspection, and I also took the alternator off. Meanwhile, it's like 38 degrees outside. I had no clue that it was going to be this cold, and now it was 5 o'clock in the morning. Although the alternator on these trucks is super easy, it took me 5 minutes, and I got that out. But now I had to wait for AutoZone or any auto parts store to open, and funny story, there was only one alternator in the entire area, and I got the last one, so I kind of got lucky with that. The good thing is that Advance, AutoZone, stores like that will actually test your alternator and batteries, so I may as well do both at the same time because the last thing I wanted to do was get a new alternator after it failed the test and then have the batteries be bad too or down cells. That wouldn't be good, but now we were ready to get back on the road, finally. And we finally made it to Austin's house after all of those trials and tribulations. So funny story about Austin, I actually bought the Audi S4 from him about 2 years ago in November 2023. So I guess it would be realistically a year and a half ago. And basically we brought the Audi back to him as a part of this trip so that he could see it before I sell it, and also so that I could see the new house he recently constructed. So he just had this house built. Absolutely beautiful house, and he actually used some of the money that I paid him for the S4, although insignificant, to put a down payment on the house. So I paid him $10,000 for the S4, and obviously he put a lot more money. In the grander scheme of things, the 10K really didn't matter, but it's kind of cool to see what he did with it out of the S4 and to bring it back to him. Now, Austin happens to have this awesome 1947 Chevy Stylemaster that's been passed through 4 generations in his family. So it has the original interior. This is an awesome car. Let's check it out. Austin has some crazy cars. You guys may remember him from like over a year and a half ago. I bought the Audi from him. So that's the whole backstory. And we're gonna check out this old Chevy. Later, actually a year and a half since he sold it to me. It's obviously gone through quite the transformation. It was burgundy red when he gave it to me. He doesn't like the blue as much, that's his honest opinion, but he did get to see all the mods I added, and we're gonna show him what the whine sounds like now. It's a little bit louder with the ported supercharger. Maybe I'll do a 2-step for you too. You wanna see what that sounds like? Yeah?
Let's do it.
Before we got back on the road, I wanted to check out Austin's Q8 because it has this crazy individual color from Audi. So I don't remember the specific color, but it is an awesome emerald green, and I kind of wanted to do something like this on the truck, possibly in the future. I don't know if I would do paint or a wrap. Anyways, after spending all that time with Austin, which I had a fantastic time doing, it was time to get back on the road because we still had 4.5 hours left until we got to Gatlinburg, where we were going to be staying in Tennessee. This is where things kind of got spooky because you're going into the mountains with no cell service whatsoever, and there really weren't other cars on the road, so it's kind of like a free-for-all. Want to begin to explain what happened next, but essentially we finally got to Tennessee and the GPS took us the complete wrong way while we were looking for the Airbnb, and we got stuck on the side of a mountain. The brakes failed and I started rolling backwards with the truck and trailer. So it was not a good time. I essentially just ditched it overnight and then tried to drive away with the Audi because I took it off the trailer, and the roads were so bad that I was kind of bottoming out the Audi every 2 seconds. But hey, that night we got to Tennessee at like 3 a.m. and then it took 2.5 hours to find the Airbnb because there were no directions and the GPS wasn't taking us anywhere. So by the time we actually got the Audi off the trailer, found the Airbnb and all of that, it was around 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh boy. This right here is where I had to abandon the truck after the brakes failed. So essentially we were going up this very steep gradient. The only way that I could make it up this steep gradient was in first gear. And that says a lot because I have a Dodge Cummins with a 410 rear gear. So the gears are very short, and second gear I almost stalled out. Anyways, we're going up this mountain and I'm like, this can't be right. I don't see the Airbnb. The road is getting super narrow and we can barely fit this trailer here. Let's stop for a second and make sure we're going the right way. So as I'm sitting on the brake, the car starts to roll backwards after about 5-ish minutes, completely lost brake pressure, truck goes backwards. I rev it up and dump the clutch, and we do a rolling burnout with the trailer. And that was the only way I was going to stop from going backwards. So after that occurred, I kept going up the mountain through these very steep hairpin turns and very narrow roads that weren't really meant for a trailer, and I found the nearest place where I could dump the truck and trailer after I got the Audi off of it, because I figured, you know what, if we get the Audi off, it's going to be a much lighter load and I won't worry about rolling back, because mind you, this was a one-way with no turnaround for the trailer. So I literally had no option. I couldn't turn around. I needed to get the Audi off so that it was lighter and so that I could actually, back up and still have enough brake pressure to maneuver the trailer into this random person's house and then drop the truck off. So this was a complete mess. Like, I couldn't have thought of a worse situation for this way to go, especially getting there so late and not seeing anything with all the supposed bears that you have to be careful with. Not good. Anyways, after that whole fiasco happened, it was time to go to the Tail of the Dragon, so we woke up the next day and headed straight there. Now, if you straight up travel from Gatlinburg to the Tail of the Dragon area, it's about an hour and a half-ish, so you still have yet another road trip to complete till you actually get there. It's not like you can just hop in the car and you're already there. actually the last stop before the Tail of the Dragon. We're 40 minutes out. You're not really supposed to be cutting up on this, but it is what it is. There's a lot of cops out, so I got to be careful, but look at this view. That is absolutely insane. And the Audi is handling well. It brakes really well, and it's quick. It sounds good. So we've got a two GT500s behind us, and this is like the most scenic part of the whole trip to there. Now it's officially time to see if the Audi can truly slay the Dragon. okay? Said she's about to throw up. We're gonna take it easy for a little bit and we'll go again. Hopefully Alexis can hold on. Everything's just flying around.
I just can't look at the road. As long as I look at the camera, I'm fine.
Even more.
Off the mountain already. I would have sent us off the mountain already.
What? It's a little understeery, that's it. But it's a manageable amount, you know, it's not insane.
fast on the way down?
What?
Are we going fast on the way down?
I can tell for you to get a break if you want. You want a break?
No, it's fine.
Well, that's officially the end of the entire thing. We got through the entire Tail of the Dragon without flying off the side of the mountain, so that's a plus. So what's actually cool is that at the end of the Tail of the Dragon, a lot of people with their really cool builds and cool cars go and park up, so you get to see all of their unique stuff going on there. And then there's actually like a gift shop that you can go into, get free stickers, and then check out the Wall of Woes. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Wall of Woes, it's a wall showing all of the bad accidents on the Tail of the Dragon. You could check it out for yourself. And obviously there's also a lot of dragon memorabilia everywhere, because outside there's a statue of an actual dragon. It's made out of car parts. And then there's a tail of the dragon as well with a bunch of stickers. So it's overall a very cool experience. I think the end of it is worth it alone, because you get to check out kind of like the whole lore behind the whole Tail of the Dragon. At the bottom of the Tail of the Dragon run, there's something called the Topoko Lodge. I'm not entirely sure if I said that correctly, but it is pretty cool and scenic, so you can grab food here. It has an excellent restaurant, and you get an awesome view of the river. So it's like the perfect way to end off the run after a pretty stressful, weaving through the mountains. I didn't even mention the whole car meet that goes on in the parking lot, because obviously everyone just ran their car at the tail, so they go and park up there to eat as well. So you get to see some very cool cars. We saw Turbo Mustangs, Porsches, GT3 RSs, and even the GT4 RS. So quite cool to see. And you have to go back the same exact way to get to Gatlinburg, so we traveled the same road, but check out what happened. Jesus. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Good thing I did not go the other way like I did this way. So tomorrow, we're gonna go back, and you're gonna do it, right? You're gonna drive the tail like that.
No.
No?
No. Not happening.
I don't think she enjoyed it too much, but, at least she got to experience it.
It was fun.
It was fun. Everyone has to experience it once in their lifetime, right? Well, now it was time to officially rescue my truck and trailer off the side of the mountain, because my buddy Brock also happened to be in Gatlinburg at the same time. He was going to Ponies in the Smokies, so he was there for the entire week, and I knew that he had a brand new truck with functioning brakes, so I called him up to hook up my trailer to his truck and then back it down the whole way. Now what we did for my truck is took the trailer off of it, obviously, and then backed it down the entire mountain because it had enough brake pressure to make it on its own weight. It's only a problem when you're on an incline with a trailer. Obviously you're adding plus 6,000 pounds because the car weighs 4,000, and then on top of that you have a 2,000 pound trailer. So long story short, it's a lot easier if you take the trailer off of the truck and then bring it down itself. And then we had Brock take down my trailer, which was interesting. There was this one very sharp turn that took us like 30 minutes to back out of because it was hard to get through. I mean, it was not easy. So in this instance, Brock really saved me because I felt like if I took my truck and tried to back it down the mountain with the trailer, it would have rolled through the brakes again and I would have gone backwards unless I dumped the clutch again and went straight forward. Again, you couldn't turn around, it was just a one-way, but now that we've got that all sorted out, I mean, this is just disaster after disaster. We can actually check out the Airbnb and enjoy it for one day, so let's do a slight tour. Well, that pretty much concludes the trip. All of the disasters shortened it up, and it only ended up being like a day when it should have been 3. But anyways, before I went back on the road over 11 hours to get back home with this truck and trailer, I wanted to at least try to address the brakes, and I did so by bleeding them. You know, I figured maybe there was just some air in the system, that's why it lost pressure. I was wrong at the time, but what was the harm in trying it? So I decided to bleed all of the brakes before we left, which did help a little bit, but I noticed that I still had an issue of losing pressure after I tested it. So something else is going on. That's an entire different project that we need to figure out for a different video during a different time. I just want to go home. Officially completed the 20+ hour round trip road trip from Tennessee. I think this was a good final send-off for the Audi. It was a really fun time in how it handled on the tail of the Dragon. I'm really disappointed to sell it. I wish I didn't have to, but we need to move on to some new content. I did figure out how to make the headlights work again, so I'm not going to blind everyone with the light bar on the bottom. I just replaced more fuses, and it was the park lamp fuse. Caden's going to show you guys the fuse right now and how it was blown up. So let's see it. Just like the 5 other fuses, you can see it's broken in the middle there. That fuse is no good. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video. If you all enjoyed it, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And let me know what you want to see next after I sell the Audi, a C5 Corvette or a C6. If you all have made it this far in the video, I really would appreciate dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and also turning on notifications because I put a lot of effort into just filming this video. So we went all that way, spent all that gas money, and did all of that, and then on top of that I put about 14 hours into editing this final product. So with that one, I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all for everything you do. What's up guys, this is Zesty Wash and I'm going to show you what it does today.